to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the only show by real fantasy football fans for real fantasy football fans. I'm your host, 20-year fantasy veteran and fan of the team that unfortunately lost this week, the Chicago Bears.
And I am your co-host, Jenilee Borek, also a 10-year fantasy veteran and a Chicago Bear fan, as you can see. And together we are the beauty
and the beast
of fantasy football experts.
So, concentrating on defenses this week. We're on week 5, and already some of those defenses that you picked in those middle rounds that you thought were studs just aren't measuring up.
That's right, because defenses are very different than kickers. Kickers, you can go find one and just plug them in your lineup. But defenses, you need them to get touchdowns for you, you need them to get turnovers for you, and you need them to not let the opponent score so that they can rack up those fantasy points for you.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the ones that
you want to get rid of.
We want to drop because they are not performing this year. So the first one I think that you should drop is St. Louis's defense. Now, they ended in the top 15 fantasy defenses last year, but that was last year. They are only 25th in fantasy so far, and they're 23rd in the league overall. I don't see them getting a lot better.
No.
Throw them away?
Yep, throw them away.
Throw them away. My second defense you should probably get rid of is the Giants. Nothing is going right with the Giants.
Offense, defense, coaching, nothing is going right with the Giants.
It's horrible. So far they have 0 defensive touchdowns for you guys in fantasy. They've allowed 1,537 yards and 134 points. And we've only been through 4 weeks of football. And they play the Eagles this week.
Oops.
Which we know can score. So I don't think you're going to want them in your lineup this week. No. And my last defense for you guys to drop is Miami. Now, Miami went out, and we talked about it in free agency. They spent a lot of money. And is it paying off? Doesn't look like it is on defense. They ranked 26th overall in the league. And the Saints defense that was terrible last year has improved. And they're ahead of Miami in fantasy for defenses. So those are my 3 to get rid of.
I like them. I'll be talking about the Saints in a minute. So, of course, there's all these big defenses that, Denver, Seattle, Texas, they're not going to be on your waiver wire. If they are, you better check out the people you're playing fantasy with because they obviously don't know what the hell they're doing. You need to go pick up a few of these defenses that are still sitting on the waiver wire. Sure, they don't have a ton of points, but they're better than these 3 points-wise, that's for sure. Kansas City, they have had a surge this season, and it's because their offense is playing well. It's giving the defense a jump also. We all know momentum works a game. So Andy Reid has this defense pumping. They've gotten 2 touchdowns, 18 sacks, 5 picks, 7 fumble recoveries, and they've only allowed 39 points in 4 weeks. That's about 10 points a week.
That's impressive. The points allowed, that's very impressive.
And that's where everybody knows you're playing your defense and you're looking, wow, I got a whole lot of points, and the other team starts scoring on you. Ooh, right on down.
Did you pick up Kansas City?
I picked up Kansas City. This is a shocker. I of course have my heart on for Kaepernick, but I think their defense this season isn't going to be as good, and they sure as hell haven't been getting the fantasy points. So I don't like holding on to 2 defenses. I dumped them and I picked up Kansas City.
I picked up Kansas City 2 weeks ago, so I've had 2 weeks of them scoring, and they got 30-plus points for me both weeks. So I'm happy.
She's always a week early on the picks, and she was early on that one too.
See?
Future opponent is Tennessee next week. And Jake Locker, as we know, is going to be out, they say, about 2 to 3 weeks with the hip injury, no surgery. But Tannehill at quarterback, I don't know about that. So they've also allowed the 7th fewest fantasy points. Moving on. New Orleans, as you said, they play our beloved Bears this week. And we all know where Jay Cutler is right now.
He's in bad Cutler land.
He's in very bad Cutler land. So the Saints are going to bank on taking advantage of them, and a lot of fantasy owners are going to pick up that New Orleans D and try and take advantage of it too, because he was a pick machine last week and a turnover machine in the bad way. So New Orleans D's only allowed 49 points in 4 games, 7 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. Future opponents, New England, they're on the surge, but then you have Buffalo and the Jets.
And they got how many sacks in Monday night's game against Tannehill?
Exactly.
I think they got at least 3, I'd say. So
yeah.
They're getting the sacks too.
Yeah. The other thing that helps is they have a high-powered offense. Momentum. Again, momentum with defenses. My third one was going to be Tennessee D, which Trey would have been really happy with.
Trey would have been happy.
But again, Locker is injured, so that completely changes up the field position game, all of that. You can't go with him. And the future opponents were Kansas City and then at Seattle.
And no one can play good at Seattle.
I just threw that one on the ground. So we're going with the Cleveland D. I know, and I'm going to mention Cleveland again with my beasts this week. Cleveland has a halfway decent team, and everybody thought they're dead in the water. They're giving away Trent Richardson. You know what? They're playing well. Their defense is what's keeping them in games. 3 picks, 4 fumble recoveries, 310 return yards. Do they have Hester on their team or something? I mean, they have a good return squad.
Yeah.
And that's been doing them well. They've only allowed 1,166 yards. So that's really low. Unfortunately, they've allowed 70 points off of that. So,
but they're a waiver wire pickup.
They're a waiver wire pickup. Only 9 to 12% in all 5 of my leagues own them. So they're out there. You pick them up for a week or two, you try them out, you gotta, air out the other stuff.
And it was Greg that made fun of me on the podcast.
I did.
Way early before the season started, I picked the Browns defense, and he made fun of me. So
I sure did.
I had to bring that up. Now I'm feeling a little bit better about my pick.
She got her comeuppance, I got my Kaepernick comeuppance. We're one for one.
We each have one.
We're 1 for 1 this season. And their future opponents are Buffalo, Denver, and Green Bay. That's some lip smacking there. It's looking good.
Some interceptions.
Yeah. So, the Bears. We were at Tinhorn this week, and it was pretty sad. Fantasy-wise, Reggie Bush. What else is there to say?
Reggie Bush. Forte did good.
Forte did well as well.
Forte got points, and Alshon did, but a lot of people have dropped Alshon, so he had his best week. So if you did have to have him, then you got points off him.
Yeah, I was one of the people that dropped Alshon, and then I'm looking at the points he got last week, but I don't know if that's going to be a consistent thing. We'll see. We'll have to see. That's the beauty of fantasy, that's why we used to do an Ogletree segment, and that's now why we do our one-hit blunder. Alshon might had the best week of his season, and now he might, but I don't think so, because we're the Bears and we're awesome.
Well, we've only seen a part of our offense, so there's still, I think, a lot more to see. And when Marshall gets covered, then Alshon's the guy that has one-on-one or is more open. So.
Yeah.
But you didn't get many points off of Chicago's defense, unfortunately.
In one of my leagues, I got that much. I got the big goose egg. And that was in Prost's Grandpa League, as I like to call it. No PPR, pure points, like back when we used to play. It's crazy. Like the final score of our game, I got a whopping 123 and he got like a whopping 48. It's the Grandpa League. But I digress. I got 0 in it because the turnovers got nullified by the points allowed, and we didn't really get many turnovers.
Well, yeah, and that's what was so frustrating when we were watching the game is that you can't win a game with 4 offensive turnovers and 30 points allowed in the first half.
Right.
So, Bear defense out there, if you players are watching this, you need to step it up this week. Have the difficult, high-powered Saints offense. We play at home, so I'm hoping that's going to help us a lot. But that 30 points and a half, that can't happen.
And we have 2 words for you, and I know she agrees with me. Pass rush.
Please.
pass rush.
Anytime you want to get to the quarterback, that would
Mhm.
really be great.
Yeah, we would like to get the sacking machine back that we used to have when Locker was on the team. Anyway, that's about it. We'll talk about more of the matchups on our podcast this week. You can go to us at blogtalkradio.com/bigballsfootball to listen to our podcast every Wednesday. This pretty much goes up every Wednesday too. So Wednesday night is the time to listen, watch us, make your picks, listen to us, and then, especially because I'm with the Browns this week, that's for Thursday night. So are you all ready with your real men this week?
Yep, I have 3 more, like always, for you guys. Week 5 real men.
All right, here we go.
Need a real man, have you seen him?
So welcome to my real man segment. We are in week 5 for you guys. I have 3 more picks for you. And last week we did pretty good. My players I picked got some points for you. Dwayne Bowe got in the end zone. So if you listen to me and put him in your lineup, then you got a touchdown from him. So my first real man this week is running back LaShawn McCoy of the Eagles. And he's a 1 on the ball scale because you're never really going to be sitting him. He's an amazing running back. So far, he has 608 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns on the season. Now, he's the number 1 running back in yardage. That is right. He is above Adrian Peterson in yardage so far this year. And in PPR leagues, he's about the number 3 running back that's out there right now. And his matchup is really great because the Giants have given up the 11th most fantasy points to running backs this year, and their rushing defense ranks 28th. So, like we said earlier, the Giants are not doing anything right, and that matchup, he's going to blow them away. Philadelphia has the number 1 rushing offense in the league, so he's going to be running like crazy. And he had a bad week last week. That was his worst week of the season so far, but I'm not really concerned. He had a hard time breathing in that Denver air. So he's back playing in New York. He's going to be just fine for you guys. Be sure to get him in your lineup. My second real man for you guys, actually a real men because it's a defense, is Carolina's defense. And they're about a 3.5 on the ball scale. Maybe not an every week start, but I like their matchup. And if you have some defenses on buys this week, then you need to pick them up. They're actually coming off of a bye, which I always like because that means the players are a lot more rested. Now, they had 7 sacks against the Giants, and they're playing Arizona. Carson Palmer has already been sacked 10 times total. So I have a feeling they're going to be making his life miserable all weekend. And they're 10th in total defense in the league, which is actually pretty surprising. Most people don't know that. So they are performing very good as a defense. They're 7th in rushing defense, and Arizona's offense only ranks 26th in rushing. So that's a great matchup. Arizona can't run the ball, and Carolina's defense can stop the run. It's going to make Arizona a lot more one-dimensional. So if you, again, have a defense that's on a bye this week, go ahead and pick up Carolina because they should be filling in and getting you those points. My third real man for you guys is running back Eddie Lacy. I'm giving you guys 2 running backs this week because there's a lot of good running backs on buys. AP's on a bye, Doug Martin's on a bye, Alfred Morris is on a bye, Le'Veon Bell's on a bye. So here's another running back for you guys. Now, a lot of people might have dropped him. I'd say he's probably like a 3 on the ball scale because we're really not sure what he can do yet. But people have dropped him in a lot of leagues. They haven't been patient. And just like I said with Carolina's defense, he's coming off of a bye. And he was out the week before because of a concussion. So he's coming off a bye. He's already been medically cleared to go. He's going to perform well for you guys this week. Also, Starks and Kuhn are dealing with issues, so no one's going to be vulturing him at the goal line. When Green Bay gets to the goal line, he's going to be the guy that's going to take it in for the touchdown. They're playing the Lions, and the Lions have given up the 5th most fantasy points to running backs so far. As we saw as Bears fans, Matt Forte was one of the only Bears offensive players that really did good in that matchup. So again, I think Eddie Lacy is going to be great for you guys. And they're playing at home, and we know that Green Bay plays very, very good at home. They're pretty much unstoppable. So go ahead and get him in your lineup. He's going to get you points. And those are my real men. And now Greg is going to do his beast mode picks for you guys.
We know you're here on the Big Balls Fantasy Football YouTube page, probably watching us, but we also have a weekly podcast that goes for an hour every week where you can listen to us give you different picks than we give you on this show. Go to blogtalkradio.com/bigballsfootball. Listen to us every week. You can call in, look for the number on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/bigballsfantasyfootball. We post a number every week. We tell you when to call. Call us with your questions. We'll have your answers on the show.
And of course, don't forget to tweet us at BigBallsFBall. We want to hear you guys and get more questions from you guys. And you can find all of our social media on our main official website, bigballsfantasyfootball.com.
Thanks for watching. Welcome back to Big Balls Fantasy Football. It's Greg the Beast with your Beast Mode picks this week, Week 5. I know, shock of shocks, I'm going to give you a quarterback from the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people have been watching him on the waiver wire this week, Brian Hoyer. He has been going off the last 2 weeks, and here's how bad. Week 3 versus Minnesota, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'll take that every week. Versus the Bengals, Week 4, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'll take that every week, for crying out loud. This week he's playing the Bills. Just chomping at the bit here. He is going to just go off against the Bills' porous defense. They're not great against the run. They're not great against the pass. This is the week to pick him up. My second beast mode pick is the little Spitfire that used to be on the Patriots, now on San Diego, Danny Woodhead, the wide receiver. This guy is like Darren Sproles Jr., except he's white, for crying out loud. He is just awesome and fast, and he doesn't only run the ball, he catches the ball in space, catches the ball coming out of the backfield. Week 4 against Dallas, 5 for 32 rushing, but 5 for 54 receiving and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that is the kind of production you want to get. He's a Spitfire in the slot. He isn't going to do you wrong. You need to have him on your team this week. My third beast this week, a guy everybody knows and loves, especially on the East Coast, especially ESPN. They practically hold his hand walking onto the field. Tom Brady. And yes, AJ is going to give a profile of him in our Balls profile during this show. But I need to take him this week because he has just been surging, started out slow this season, and has just built week after week after week and went completely crazy against the Falcons on Sunday night. 20 for 31, 316 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think that's a comeback if I ever saw one. Week 3 against Tampa Bay, he went 25 for 36, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This week, he's versus the Bengals. Now, I know what you're saying. The Bengals have a wonderful passing defense, but, ta-da, last week, they let Hoyer, who I just mentioned, go crazy on his ass, get a ton of points. They're vulnerable right now. They just got made a fool of by Hoyer. Tom Brady is going to go in there and just wipe the floor with these guys. So, those are my 3 Beast Mode picks this week. We'll be right back. So next we went on the road again for Thursday Night Football, and we went to Big Wangs Hollywood this time to see the Niners, the wonderful, wonderful comeback Niners, take on the Rams. And we talked to a lot of Niners fans and Rams fans, and I, of course, got to gloat about my awesome, awesome Beast Mode pick I made last week. Jenilee knows who I'm talking about, don't you?
Greg, if you say Kaepernick's name one more time, I'm just going to buy you guys a wedding present.
Maybe we do need to get engaged. Anyway, let's go to the footage. are here with Big Balls Fantasy Football here, as you can see, at Big Wangs Hollywood for Thursday Night Football between San Francisco 49ers and the St. Louis Rams. Of course, they used to be the LA Rams, but they're out of California for a while now. We are here to enjoy all of the 49ers fans. Yeah, as you can see, I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm wearing my shirt.
I know. He's got his Kaepernick shirt on. He thinks he's going to have a better game than he's been having this season. Both teams are 1-2 so far, so it should be a good divisional matchup. And do you have anybody on your fantasy team?
I have Kaepernick on my team. The big piece of news tonight is Vernon Davis is back. He is back for the attack at tight end. He's going to have his dump-off spot. It's going to be great. So tonight we're just going to enjoy big balls and big wangs. I think they go together, don't they?
I think they do. I have Frank Gore, but I'm playing against Frank Gore as well, so that kind of sucks. I think the Niners are really going to pick up their running game. And I have Tavon Austin, so hopefully Bradford gets the ball down him a couple times. So we'll be back at halftime?
We'll be back at halftime. Stay tuned. All right, Big Balls Fantasy Football here, talking to the fans here at Thursday Night Football. This is Chad. He's our Rams Superfan of the night. How you feeling about your team going into tonight?
Yeah, I feel it's going to be a tough one tonight. Always have a tough game against the Niners. Had to tie and they went last year in overtime. It's going to be a rough one.
But you're playing at home.
Yeah.
So home advantage always helps a little bit. Now, do you play fantasy football at all?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. How many leagues are you in? Oh, okay. So you really play. Do you have any players playing tonight?
I got Chris Gibbons to the Rams tonight. It's one of these, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game tonight. I'm trying not to play any guys from either team.
So you have a score prediction for the game?
16-13 Rams.
16-13 Rams.
Low score.
Low scoring game. So you think Kaepernick isn't going to bounce back and your defense is just going to take it to him?
I think it's going to go right down to the wire. I'm looking at a field goal right at the buzzer to win. That's what we're
Well,
looking
neither
at.
defenses have been playing very good so far.
Yeah.
So if it is low scoring, that means that both stepped up to the plate.
Absolutely. You got it.
And what's your fantasy football record this season?
I am 3-1 in one league, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2.
We got a winner here. We got a winner here. Well, thanks a lot, Chad.
Thank you.
Alrighty, good luck.
Thank you.
So, Big Balls Fantasy Football here with James, our Niners fan, the first Niners fan I saw tonight. He was complimenting me on my jersey. It's right.
Hopefully we can pull it out tonight.
Yeah.
Thursday games are always hard.
So, we have a score prediction for tonight.
Which means you get great coverage and more plays.
17-6, 49ers. Always Thursday night games are always low scoring. You always want to stay away from your offenses on Thursday nights and play your defenses because it's tough for them to turn around on a Thursday night. It's only a couple days rest.
He's a smart guy. It sounds like he listens to our show.
We always say divisional matchups are always low scoring because the teams know each other so well.
That too, and plus
But Thursday is an evil night.
Yeah.
Sunday nights aren't too good either sometimes.
And then on the contrast, the team coming off on Thursday night, the next week when they have 10 days off, they usually do better because they have more rest. They usually do better after a Thursday night game.
Listen to James here. It's like he's on our show. This is amazing. So, do you have any Niners players on any of your teams?
Only Bolden.
All right.
Yeah, I have the 49ers defense.
All right. And, what do you think you're going to get out of Bolden tonight?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. Depends on what Kaepernick's going to be able to do. Because I was kind of short on receivers, and plus I have a couple Green Bay receivers. So they were on bye, so I had to start him. But hopefully he can pull off something. I rested Vernon Davis. I don't know what he's going to be able to do coming back from the injury. Short turnaround on Thursday. I didn't trust him.
He's got his stopgap back. He's got his stopgap
He'll
back.
probably have a good game now that he's playing.
Oh, yeah. Well, good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
And thanks.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So what's your name, man? Calvin. Calvin here is a die-hard Niners fan. How long have you been a Niners fan?
Yeah, since I was like 4 years old, when I can actually comprehend football.
So what do you think of the Kaepernick this game so far?
I think he's playing good. I think he can play better though. I think he will play better second half.
What do you think
the problem's been? The wide receivers, Patrick's injured, Manningham's injured. We got Bolden, you know, he's good, but at the same time, as long as they cover him, we don't really got nobody else except Bernie Davis. So I think as long as you get Patrick and Manningham back, we're going to be A1.
What do you think you're going to do in the second half? What's your score prediction final?
Yeah, I think 28 to 14.
28 to 14, you heard it.
So who are you wanting to win?
I think I'm going for the 49ers on this one. I'm a Kaepernick fan. In Cap we trust. Remember that shit.
This is Big Balls Fantasy Football, and we are here with a Cowboys fan, actually, not a Niners fan, but that's okay, he plays fantasy. So how many fantasy leagues are you on?
I'm doing the one fantasy league that polygamy of fantasy is just, it occupies my television.
Yes, it does. And do you have any players from this game?
I do.
Okay, who do you have?
I have Kaepernick, and I need him to show up.
He's playing okay, but not great, huh?
Right. He's got to make up. The statistics have got to lead this family this year.
Okay. So who else do you have in your starting lineup this week?
This week I have a little bit of Des Bryant, and I have DeMarco Murray, back-to-back Cowboys.
Nice. Well, I picked Romo in my own romance segment to do good. So hopefully if he does good, then your players will do good as well. And what's your record so far?
I am 1-1.
All right, there we go. So there we have it.
Here at Big Balls Fantasy Football, what's your name?
Jerry.
Jerry, how long you been a Niner fan?
Forever.
Forever.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever since birth, born and raised. Awesome. How do you think Kaepernick's doing this game?
He's picking it up. He's doing a little bit better than I expected. You know, last couple games he hasn't been doing too well, so he's not on my team, but you know, fantasy-wise.
Who do you have on your fantasy team for the Niners? Anybody?
I got Frank Gore actually.
And you just
yeah, and I'm killing it today.
Just watch.
I got
him.
Patrick Willis, but you know he's hurt. So.
Yeah, but you just watched him go off.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, he's making up for the Patrick Willis thing.
Yeah. So you have a score prediction for tonight's game?
I don't.
Looking at what we got so far?
I don't. I'm a horrible gambler. Yeah, I lose about 9 out of 10 times.
It's 14-3. Your Niners. How many more points do you think your Niners going to put up?
I would say I'll give it another 10. Another 10. Another 10. They might score another touchdown. They'll cover spread.
Good.
My prediction.
As long as they win.
But remember, I'm not a good gambler, so don't take my word for it.
But you're a Niners fan, so you gotta have hope.
Yeah, that's true.
Rock and roll. Cool. Thanks for talking to us, man. All right.
Okay, so we're here at Big Balls Fantasy Football, and I'm here with what's your name? Jared. Jenilee, nice to meet you. And thank you. And you are a 49er fan for how long? Okay.
About 3.
Okay, so who's your favorite player on the Niners team this season?
Aldon Smith.
Aldon Smith, okay, and he's not playing tonight.
Not playing tonight.
Okay, any players that you like that are playing tonight?
I like Gore. I like Kaepernick.
Do you have faith in Kaepernick?
Definitely. Definitely. All day.
And what's your score prediction for the game?
21-10.
21-10. So you only think you guys will get one more touchdown? Okay. All right. I like that. Hey, it's hard. And you guys are 1-2. So how do you think you're going to do the rest of the season?
We're going to do great. Now, once everyone's back, we got a lot of new players. Once everyone's back,
awesome. Well, thank you for talking to us on Big Balls Fantasy Football.
who got it better than us? Nobody.
I'm going against Jared Cook right now. He's got like 8 points in the PPR right now at halftime, which I'm not too happy about because that could mean he's in for like over 20 if he gets in the end zone. So I'm a little bit worried, but overall, I'm going to be fine. How you doing, Chris?
All right, so here at Big Balls Fantasy Football, and this is one of the Big Wangs regulars here. Give us your name, man.
I'm Logan Williams. Nice to meet you guys.
We got Logan here, and I know, how many fantasy football teams do you have?
Well, this year I'm only doing 3 money leagues that I'm pretty serious about, so I'm trying to stay focused on like just those 3. I really wanted to lock in this year.
When you say money leagues, how much money are you playing for?
Well, in my main league, we're playing for about $1,000. Yeah.
or what?
No, that's actually just a couple friends that I've had since high school. We do it every year. So it's actually a keeper league. This year we actually started from scratch after about 10 years. So we took it super serious this year.
Who are some of your keepers? Who are some of your key players you have this season?
Well, we started from scratch this year, but I was able to actually pick up Peyton Manning in the 5th round. Quarterbacks fell in a lot of drafts this year. So yeah, Kaepernick actually went one pick before me. That's who I was aiming for. I ended up with Peyton, and so far I'm 3-0, so it worked out pretty good.
I think it worked out for you in the scheme of things.
Exactly.
So what are you thinking of tonight's game so far? How you think fantasy-wise is looking?
Well, fantasy-wise is going okay for me. Actually, I don't have any players in the game personally, but I'm going against Jared Cook, who has we're PPR, so full point per reception, and he's got about, I want to say, like 8.5 at halftime. So if he gets in the end zone, I could be in trouble. But I have Jordan Cameron, so that's actually working out for me pretty good too. So hopefully I'll be all right.
I was just talking, Jenilee, who's behind the camera there, has a whole Jordan Cameron, Jared Cook situation going on too. Hot tight ends playing. I mean, that's how we deal with it in fantasy football. Every week, it's just luck. So, give us a final score prediction of the game tonight. We already got the score of 14-3. What do you think is going to be at the end?
I'm going to go Niners 28, Rams 13.
I hope it's 28. I need a few out of here. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you, man. No problem.
Hey. So Greg is going to brag a little bit.
That's right, Kaepernick went off tonight, just like I predicted. I told him, I thought I was going to be a genius or a fool. I turned out to be a genius.
Yeah, he's only had 2 good games so far.
Hey, yeah. At least he got that Packer win. That's the important thing. He beat the Packers. He was way ahead in our division. Tonight, sorry, Rams. We should have been better on defense. That's why I predicted this was going to suck. Any other fantasy revelations tonight?
Yeah, well, me and Greg are playing each other in one of our leagues, and he had Frank Moore, and Frank Moore was one of the only fantasy players that went off tonight. So I have him in one league, but I'm playing against him in one, so that sucks when you're in multiple leagues.
It happens with those stunt players because everybody has them, and then all of a sudden you're playing against them, and sometimes you just need to suck it up and take the beating in one league and kind of take the loss in the other league. So I think we're done here at Big Wangs. Big balls at Big Wangs. Is that not fitting or what?
It is fitting, but we didn't even talk about the Rams because there was nothing to talk about. The ending score was 35-11 San Francisco. If you had any Ram fantasy players, they were absolutely terrible. Vernon Davis came back, got a touchdown for you fantasy owners, and Anquan Bolden had a decent game. So that's about it, and we are out from Big Wangs at Hollywood. Good night. And as you guys can see, Greg and I had a lot of fun talking to all the fans. And Greg is banned from the air until he stops fantasizing about Kaepernick. I'm getting a little scared over here. So now we have AJ on, aka Lady Justice, because she's our little lawyer friend by day and a Patriots fan all the time. She is going to give you the balls profile on Tom Brady since she gave you guys the Patriots report last week. So let's get into it, AJ.
Hi, welcome back. I'm AJ Lawrence and this is Big Balls Fantasy. I'm your New England Patriots correspondent here to do the balls profile on Pat's quarterback, Tom Brady. Brady has been with the New England Patriots for 13 years and he's left quite a legacy, all under the tutelage of Bill Belichick. Of course, before Belichick was around, Brady was with the University of Michigan playing for the Wolverines. But he was playing second string quarterback and never got the starting opportunity to get out there on the field. He spent 2 years trying to start. When they finally allowed him on the field, they never let him get off. He led the Michigan team to so many wins, taking over Alabama in the Orange Bowl in 1999. By the time 2000 came around, Brady was in the NFL draft. Of course, he expected to be a second-round pick, but unfortunately, he had to wait to the 6th round. He was a 199th pick. He was a little disappointed, but the Patriots saw a lot in him. He sat number 4 on the list behind Drew Bledsoe. His opportunity finally came to start a game. In 2001, second game, Patriots versus the New York Jets. Mo Lewis hit Drew Bledsoe so hard he had internal bleeding, creating an opportunity for Tom Brady. Although Tom Brady wasn't able to lead the Patriots to victory that day, he did manage to conquer 11 of the 14 games that season that he started. And he also took the Patriots to the Super Bowl. And in that Super Bowl, he was voted the MVP. They defeated the Rams, and he amassed 2,843 passing yards that year with 18 touchdowns. The next year wasn't as profitable. It was the lowest of his career. He had 14 interceptions, and the Patriots ended 9-7. Now in 2003, things were looking a little bit better. He ended 14-2 with 3,620 passing yards and 23 touchdowns. This was their second time in the Super Bowl and his second time as MVP. They defeated the Carolina Panthers that year. Brady was only getting better. In 2004, they had a Super Bowl win over the Philadelphia Eagles. And when 2005 rolled around, Brady had 4,110 passing yards and 26 touchdowns. But unfortunately, the Broncos defeated them in the postseason. In 2006, the Patriots managed to beat the Jets for the wild card, but unfortunately they were upset by the Colts in the postseason. Something good did come out of that year. Brady took Victoria's Secret Angels model down the aisle in December of 2006. In 2007, the Patriots had a damn fine year. They ended with 16-0. They also went to the Super Bowl once again, and Brady was named MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Unfortunately, they did not win the Super Bowl as Brady was sacked 5 times against the Giants. In 2008, Brady had a season that was laced with injuries. Unfortunately, it took him out of the game, ending his 111th consecutive starting game streak. In 2009, the Patriots were off to a good start and they did pretty well, making it in the postseason, but unfortunately they lost again to the Giants at home. It was the first postseason loss at home since 1978. But Brady's numbers did improve as he ended up with over 4,000 passing yards and 28 touchdowns. In 2010, Brady became the highest paid player in the NFL, signing a 4-year contract for $72 million. He amassed 3,900 yards that year and 36 touchdowns. In 2011, Brady had his career high with over 5,200 passing yards and 39 touchdowns. He also brought the Patriots to the Super Bowl, but unfortunately they lost again to the New York Giants. In 2012, Brady became the first quarterback to lead a team to 10 division titles. He also had 4,800 passes and 34 touchdowns. Now in 2013, we get to see Brady with a whole new offensive line. We essentially get to see what he is made of, whether he can teach and whether he can grow. But either way, we can look to his past performances and we know that he can perform. Fantasy owners, you will be excited to see what Tom Brady has to deliver this year.
So that was a fun show this week, huh?
Yeah, we had a lot of good information for you guys, as we always do.
As we always do. You're damn right we do. And we have a little bit of time to have fun with the fans, get out and interact with you guys. Love coming out to the bars and seeing you guys. Please comment and subscribe on our YouTube page. We want to hear from you guys. So, we also want you to interact with us on social media.
Absolutely. Go to our Facebook page and like us on there. It's facebook.com/BigBallsFantasyFootball. And tweet us and follow us on Twitter at BigBallsFBall because we're always tweeting like crazy during the games. And we want to know some more bars that you guys want us to come to and visit and hang out.
Definitely, definitely. We want to hit every fan base for every team by the end of the season. I don't think we're able to do that mathematically, but it sure would be fun to try.
It would be fun to try.
And, of course, you can listen to our podcast every Wednesday. It's an hour long, different picks than you get here on our YouTube channel. Go to blogtalkradio.com/BigBallsFootball. And, of course, the Grand Poobah, the wonderful, big, huge hub. Everything's on there, all of our past videos at BigBallsFantasyFootball.com. We even have a blog now, for crying out loud. We started a blog, AJ's, of course, not rambling, sorry AJ, going and giving us great information about the Patriots, but we need to get on there and ramble about our Bears, don't we?
Yeah, I think she needs to spread the love to all the NFL teams.
Yeah, and we'll get Smash on there and talk about our Chargers too. And of course, we invite people to send things in. Hey, we want to hear about your teams too. So thanks for watching and good night.
Good night.